Hey guys, I'm back. I'm back after being 2 weeks banned from Twitter. So let's. I'm going to share the screen out real quick. See if we get some people in here. Haven't talked to you guys in a long time. So hold on one second. I'm going to make this a real quick, hopefully a quick stream. I always say it's going to be a short one, but we'll see it. We'll see what happens. So a lot of stuff going on today. A lot of stuff been going on the past few weeks too. What's up, guys? Hope you guys been watching the trial. I'm all cozied up right now. I got some snacks, got some drinks. I'm celebrating today, guys. I've been for those that don't know, the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict came in today, where he was cleared of all charges, so innocent of all charges against him, which was five different counts. Here, see, I got a breakdown of that. So Rittenhouse cleared of all charges: first-degree intentional homicide, not guilty; attempted first-degree intentional homicide, not guilty; first-degree reckless homicide, not guilty; first-degree recklessly endangering safety, not guilty; first-degree recklessly endangering safety, not guilty. And a lot of people I know, throughout the entire year of this ordeal, people have been like saying that he was illegally carrying a gun, crossing state lines, blah, 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 just basically repeating what the narrative is. Again, I've told you, don't listen to the media anymore. They're just going to confuse you. They're going to get you angry. They're going to knock you off balance. They're just evil people, all right? And so the whole narrative has been crushed completely. I've been watching this trial. Well, if you guys have been following me, I've been following this whole thing since day one, since it happened in Kenosha. Was it over a year ago? And I even made a couple of videos, detailing everything that went on, because the reason that I was so interested in this case was it's kind of hard to explain. I have a different perspective than most. I'm not really interested in the whole legality of it. I'm not than most. I'm not interested in the whole of it. Or just, it doesn't even matter to me that it's a popular thing. From my own perspective, because I watched these videos, so there's tons of footage out there, right? And so I put together all these videos of what happened, and I try to do it in an impartial way, where I just put together a coherent timeline of all the events that surrounded that night and showed exactly what happened, right? If you guys watch my videos. And from doing that, I watched every video, and I'm like, man, this kid was just, the whole setup and everything. I'm like a very emotional today, so I'm going to try to keep it good. I'm really in a good emotional way. Okay, when he was cleared and they found him to be not guilty of all accounts, I broke down in tears, because I've been following this for a very long time. I can empathize with the kid as well. He was only 17 when he went out there. And me, I grew up a Boy Scout. I actually made it to an Eagle Scout, and I know the feeling of like being a kid and you just want to go out and you just want to help, right, in any way that you can. And so I could empathize with what he was trying to do, and the craziness of last year. We can't forget the what it was all about. Everyone was trying to defund the police, and they're saying, hey, we're gonna we'll defund the police, and then we'll just police our own communities on our own. And so it's you always see the hypocrisy of the left coming out like constantly, because here's this kid that came out to literally police his community. Okay, and don't believe the lies that the media spins. Oh, he wasn't supposed to be there, blah 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 blah. It's all a bunch of lies. Okay, he like grew up there, his best friend lived there, he worked there, some of his family and friends lived there. Like he only like really lived 20 minutes away from a state. If you think of a state line, like for instance, here's a good example of kind of the ridiculousness of the narrative of the state line crossing. I used to live in Kansas City, and if you know anything about Kansas City, it's broken up by a state line. So there's Kansas City, Kansas, and then there's Kansas City, Missouri, right? And I literally lived on the Kansas City, Kansas side, and across the street from me was Kansas City, Missouri. So it's like the same thing where if I cross, it would only take me like 10 seconds to walk over, a state line and be like, oh, I cross state lines, to go to my neighbor's house. Like it's ridiculous. Okay. That's so again, but the media just tries to spin the lies, tries to upset people, tries to confuse people, tries to enrage people. So again, stop watching the media if you want to be a sane person. Um, and again, so I've been following this case for a long time, and uh, it was very personal for me, because like I said, I grew up in that kind of mindset that as a Boy Scout I was out. One of our mottos was like, do a good turn daily. And that day he was out there cleaning graffiti. He went out there as an EMT, and good thing he brought a gun with him, because who knows what would have happened. He might be dead. As far as we know, on a parallel timeline, Kyle Rittenhouse was killed by the mob, and the media says nothing. Just another casualty of the 2020 riots, right? And it's crazy. And I was following a lot of those kind of those riots and everything that was happening. They were just going around burning down cities, and anyone that got in their way was beaten. Some people were killed, and so he went out there and he sought to do some good, right? And and he was, to me, I saw him as this kind of innocent, you could say naive kid, right? That went out, thought that, okay, I could do this. No one's gonna, hopefully I won't need to use this weapon, but I have it just in case. We do have a right to carry here. If you live in America, you have a right. It's the Second Amendment. Okay, you have a right to self-defense. All right, and again, that charge was thrown out because in Kenosha, apparently, you are allowed to carry as a 17-year-old. So again, the media was trying to spin the lies that it was illegal, all this nonsense. Just trying to make up, pretty much trying to make up laws to fit their narrative. But we figured out, if you've been watching this since day one, like I have, like literally, like every day this trial was going on, it was lasting like 8 hours a day. So I was literally sitting there watching the trial 8 hours a day. Okay. And it was a crazy trial. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of back and forths. And I was watching the Rikidia Law live stream, so it had like at all times of the day, like usually around like 4 to maybe 12 different lawyers talking, and they're kind of discussing, okay, this is where the defense is going, this is what the prosecution is doing. And literally the prosecution had no case. A lot of what they had to do to try to force a case was to stomp on this kid's constitutional rights as a defendant. And if you look back, I'm not going to get too much into it, but it was very interesting to see how, if you consider the prosecution, because they did seem very leftist, right? It's like, it's incredible to see how the left, like, all they have is lies, hypocrisy, hate, anger. Like, they use all the negative, feelings and emotions, right? And they try to rile everyone up. And they were really making, and they even admitted during the trial that this was a political case for them. And and that should never be the case in a court of law. It should never be biased anyway. It should never be about appeasing one side of the political spectrum and everything. Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, got some people in the chat. What's up? Thank you for being here. It's been a while. I'll get into that. I was banned for a couple weeks on YouTube, and I'm on very thin ice right now. By the way, I have 2 strikes to my channel, so if I get a third one, it's a bye-bye channel for sure, for permanently. So I have to be very careful of what I say here. But anyways, yeah. But again, going back to how this is very personal to me, because as I was watching all these videos, there was something about what happened that night that was, okay, let's just like, rewind a little. Let's just like pretend none of this happened, right? And he went home. No one got hurt that night. No one got killed, and he went home. Like, he would be considered like just a very good person, right? Like, he went out there to try to just basically be a medic for people. Like I said, he cleaned graffiti. He tried to help protect property as well, which it wasn't his main duty. He was really there to be an EMT, and the group that he was with was there to mainly protect the property. But like, to me, he is a very like innocent, sweet kid. He's not perfect in any way, of course. Nobody is, all right? Especially at that age, 17. But like, again, you have to understand what was going on during that time. These were the height of all the 2020 riots, that been going on. And he was literally a kid that went out there and stood up for something, like, he stood up for good. Like, he took a stand against these people that were burning down his city. There's a lot of people out there, adults, adult men, like, just people that wouldn't have the wouldn't have the courage and the bravery that he showed that night, to go out there and take a stand against this, just, this, insensible type of just looting and burning and just destruction for destruction's sake, And that's why I really feel for him, because it seemed he was very honest and sincere, and in his intention to go out there and do some good. He wasn't just waving his gun around at anyone. It was only until he was chased down by, I'm going to say, these demons, okay? Because that's what they were. Don't listen to the media, oh, they're heroes, or they're victims, because they're not. If you really want to do your research on those people, all right? I honestly feel like all of this that happened that night was to me, from my perspective, it was all a miracle. Like, what happened to this kid and how he survived and how he uh, just conducted himself and how he got out of that situation, everything was a miracle. Like, I literally saw like angels standing over this kid and protecting him that night. And these demons, they tried to kill him. They tried to go after him. If Rosenbaum would have got his gun at the very first person who got shot, which is what he was going for, and if you've been watching the trial like I have, he repeatedly told him and his group that if he found them out alone, that he was going to kill them. That his exact words were that he was going to skin them alive. Okay, so this guy was out to get them, because why? Because Rosenbaum was out there trying to start fires, trying to cause destruction, being a demon like he is, right? Here comes Kyle with a fire extinguisher putting out his fires, right? So you could see the contrast between the two. You got the angel and the demon on one side. And so just rewatching his videos over and over of him, handling that firearm, like he had some very good I would say he had some really good trigger discipline. Just he was very skilled, but it's interesting because of just how young he was. But every shot he took was very calculated, and even if you watch the last person that he shot, the Gage Grauskowitz, he shot him in the arm where his gun was, because Gage had a pistol he was pointing it at Rittenhouse when Rittenhouse was knocked to the ground by Anthony Huber with his skateboard. Okay, and the skateboard, it can be considered a assault with a deadly weapon. A skateboard. I just actually found out. I read a news article today that someone was just killed with a skateboard, and so he could have very easily been killed that night by any kind of weapon. And so just watching that, it was like to me it was a miracle that he survived, and just how he came out of that unscathed and unhurt. Like there's something that night that just, for him taking a stand against these demons, it was just like, I want to say, that he had the Lord's side on it. He had the hand of God watching over him. Like, I'll say it because that's what I perceived when I was watching this, because of just how to me miraculous of how he came out of that situation without a lot of other necessary deaths. And again, if you look at these people that he shot, they were not good people. Okay, they were demons in human skin. Okay, sorry if that hurts anyone's feelings, but I'm not really sorry, because you're obviously buying into the media perspective if you believe that they were anything other than a demon in human skin. Okay, these people, like Rosenbaum, he raped young children. Okay, yeah, he did all these terrible things multiple times. Okay, he had just gone out of jail when he confronted Kyle. Messed with the wrong person, right? Kyle had some higher power watching over him that night, because God was not going to allow these demons to kill this innocent person. All right, think what you want about him, but Kyle's innocent, okay? And now he's officially innocent. And not only innocent in respect to the law, but innocent as I think he was generally and sincerely and honestly trying to do good in his community, which if every American felt the same way, none of these riots would have ever happened. These cities wouldn't have burned down. People would have not lost their property, their jobs. And I watched a lot of those videos of these businesses that were burned down in Kenosha. And of course, it was going around all the country. And I'm sure a lot of the people felt the same way. And they were like, this was my livelihood. This was everything that I owned. You know, think about you putting in 20, 30 years into a business, and overnight it's gone. It's burned down, you know? And who's standing up for you? Who's there, you know? Who's there to stop this just insane destruction on everything? Here is Kyle, you know? A kid stood up that night and stood against these people, right? And they tried to end his life, and he won in the end. So, what's up, BB Truth? Yeah, when I saw the verdict happen, I was in tears because, again, this has been a very emotional. It's been emotional couple of years, right? And so I wanted to show you his reaction, because if you guys haven't seen it, it's very emotional. I keep putting it on replay because it's just, say what you want, but I believe this kid he's very innocent, possibly very naive as well. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't have been there. You know, maybe he shouldn't have stood up for what was right, you know, and just been like all of us, sitting in our homes, watching the destruction, watching the fires happen, and just sitting back behind Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, making our comments, blah, 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 blah. You know, he went out there and he did something, okay, and he came out on top. All right. So here's when this is just happened, I think a couple hours ago, when the verdict came in. It's a very emotional part of the trial.
State of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? Would you wish the jury polled? No. Okay.
Very emotional, right? I believe that's his mom right there. That might be his sister or another family member. But just the way that he just drops when he hears that last verdict, like, it just breaks me, you know. Because you guys have to have some empathy, you know. Even if you're not agreeing with this or whatever, have some empathy, all right? Like, stop being a demon, all right? Let's have some empathy. Like, this kid, he's been demonized by the media for over the past year. Okay, all these millions and millions of people bought into the narrative that he's some white supremacist going out there trying to cause trouble because he brought, a firearm or whatever. He shouldn't have been there. he should have just let the demons destroy the town. You know, he should just let the demons burn up all the cities and loot everything and just let them do whatever they want, you know, because that's what the left does. If they don't get what they want, they're going to cry, they're going to rage, they're going to throw a tantrum, you know. And so to me, this is a big win, big win for America, big win for, you know, the good side. Big loss for the demons today. Because, man, it just shows that, because what another big perspective that I've had, if he was to have lost this case, just think about it for a second. Okay, if he were to have lost this case, which if you watch the trial was the most obvious self-defense case that I've ever seen, okay? It was super obvious. The evidence was there. The facts were there. The facts don't care about your opinions or your bias, okay? The facts are the facts. And it was the most obvious form of self-defense that I've seen personally. And, you know, really what was on trial, and I think this is why a lot of people were involved in this case, not necessarily for Kyle, even though I believe he's a great person, and he was just trying to do good. But also, if you really think about it, the whole idea of self-defense was also on trial. The whole idea of, you know, these demons are constantly trying to take away our Second Amendment rights, because once they do that, then we have no way to defend ourselves, you know, against them, right? And so really the Second Amendment was on trial, as well as the idea of being able to defend yourself or to defend your property, or, you know, defend yourself against these demons burning everything up, right? So if he was to have lost, like, just think about every other, if he lost, it would have set a precedent of basically anyone that is involved in some way of defending their own lives against someone coming after them. Anyone could be found guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was to go out and someone was going to run at me and attack me, and, you know, somehow they were, you know, if I had to kill someone, then if he lost, and it's the most obvious case of self-defense, like, how hard would it be for me to defend myself in my self-defense case, you know? And that's why I was saying, like, this was big for America, because we've been feeling for this past year and a half, really, like, all of our rights are being taken away, all of our freedoms are taken away, you know, we're getting locked down, we're getting mandated, or we're getting our cities burned up, we're getting all these people super divided against each other, and it just feel like, man, we're not getting any wins here, you know? And so this was a big win for us, the good guys. You know, I'm just gonna say we're on the good side of history here, because I would, if someone was coming after me trying to kill me, I would hope that I would be able to defend myself, and I would hope that would be the lawfully correct thing to do, you know? Same with if you're trying to protect your family. If someone's going after your family, I would hope that you would try to defend them, and I would hope that it would be lawfully correct, right? Same with property. If someone's burning down my house, you bet that I'm going to try to defend myself as well as the property, okay? And so this was a big win for that side of things, where if he would have lost, I guarantee they would have righted it anyways. They would have, now they'd be like, haha, no one could stand up to us now. Like, there will be no more Kyle Rittenhouses going out there trying to do good, because the best that they had was sent out and then found guilty, right? So nobody in their right mind would go out and try to take a stand against them, because if he lost and he was, you know, such an innocent person, just trying to do good, sincere in what he was in his intentions. And if he was found guilty, say goodbye to ever trying to stand up to them, ever trying to stand up to the mob, ever trying to stop someone from burning your property down. You would just have to sit there and watch while they do it, because you could be found guilty of all these crazy things that they brought against them. And so I'm really happy that he was acquitted of all charges. Of course, we're gonna have a huge polarization of both sides. The left is gonna be raging, and they're gonna be they've already been doing this. They're already in tears, crying. They're throwing tantrums. They're already threatening, oh, we're gonna riot. It's gonna be worse than before. Blah 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 blah. It's like, if you're a good person, you wouldn't be rioting, right? You wouldn't be. You could protest, okay, but rioting's a whole different thing, right? And burning down people's properties, blah 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 blah. Like that's not justice, okay? That will never be justice, all right? So if you're on that side of things, then consider yourself a demon, because it's not the good side, all right? And so I hope my viewers, I'm pretty sure the people that have stuck with me are probably on the good side, I would hope, about things. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions about that, like I said, I was watching the trial from day one, 8 hours a day, and I was listening to real lawyers give their testimony of like the play-by-play of like what's going on in the trial. So I really got a good perspective about what happened. So if you have any questions about it, hopefully I'll be able to answer it. So just post it in the chat or later in the comments after this video is posted, and I'll go ahead and do that. But anyways, that's not the only thing I want to talk about. So again, I was banned for 2 weeks from what they called medical misinformation, even though these were all my live shows that I was doing. So if you guys actually go to my channel, you'll find out that I basically have deleted, or they've also taken down a few of my videos as well. So I've had to delete in a preemptive way, because they're going back to videos that I posted a year ago or 2 years ago, and they're saying, oh, this is misinformation. And so they gave me a strike on a video that was like a year old. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna have to delete most of these videos, which is crazy to me, because it's like people should be able to form their own opinions, and it's just crazy what's going on. So I'm on really thin ice right now. I can't be talking about things that I usually have talked about. I can't talk about the V word, the name that should not be saying, the name that can't be said, Lord Voldemort, the mark of the beast, whatever you want to call it. I can't talk about that until hopefully, my first strike will go away in the beginning of December, and my second will be at the end of January. So I'll have to wait till my strike's clear before I could continue on. But yeah, I'm on very thin ice, so I had to delete a lot of my videos. Hopefully you guys got to watch them. I might re-upload them on Rumble maybe at some point. I do have a week off of school next week, so hopefully I'll be able to maybe a live stream during that time. I'm going to be spending a lot of it with friends and family, though, because of Thanksgiving that's coming up. So yeah, I had to delete a lot of videos. So unfortunately, hopefully you guys got to watch them. If not, pay attention to my Rumble, which is listed in the description of this video. So maybe I'll be able to post it on there later. So and another crazy thing. So this trial was, it's gained the main attention of pretty much the world. It's the biggest video. I would even say I feel like it might even been a bigger story than even like the O.J. Simpson trial or whatever. But I'm not sure. But from what I've seen, at least on social media, it's everyone's talking about it, especially today. People have been talking about it for the past couple of weeks, but now today it's really out there. And of course, see, they're already trying to create some backlash. The left is trying to form up their narrative that, oh, we have no justice in America, or our justice system is broken. Well, yeah, it's been broken for a long time. Okay, this was not one of those reasons of why it is, though. Okay, this was actually a very I think this was honest justice for him and everyone that night. And I would highly recommend to watch the Rikidia Laws videos, because they go really in depth and they provide coverage the entire time that this happened. But anyways, there is actually another trial that I've been watching running parallel with this, which is the Craig Wright, aka Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. His trial is happening in Florida in parallel to this. So I've been watching two different, what I think are equally as large trials that were going on. So the Satoshi Nakamoto trial is still ongoing. It has not received as much media coverage because obviously this one is kind of putting a blanket over all of the media right now. This is all they're talking about. And so, but that's also another very interesting case. Not much to report on it. If you guys haven't watched my previous videos on Satoshi Nakamoto, I made a video of Craig Wright, and just kind of, I put a bunch of clips of him speaking and things, and I think he's a very, very, very interesting person. Think what you will on him. You could call it an opinion. I have an opinion on him because the facts of the matter haven't come out. Like, he hasn't 100% proven that he's Satoshi Nakamoto. He might not ever prove it, but I think he has the best. He has the most evidence of anyone else out there. Okay, so like I've always said in my previous videos, like if you have 1,000 coincidences, that might be a clue. If you have 1,000 quote unquote coincidences, or what I like to call evidence, and they're all pointing to one singular, result or outcome or fact, right? It might be a clue that maybe it is true, and so I would be paying attention to that as well, because if I think Bitcoin will have a big impact in the world, and it's going to have a big impact. I mean, I'm always out there in the future of things. I feel like I'm always too far into the future, where it's like, okay, I'm in this present moment right now, and the present moment always takes forever to catch up with the future that I'm currently in. So I see things and I'm like, okay, that's going to be the future, but it's going to be the future like 10 years from now or something. So I cast my vision way out there into the future. And so sometimes it's hard to deal with in the present, because it's like, it doesn't look like, just like with this Kyle Rittenhouse case, like I cast my vision in the future and I'm like, a year ago, everyone was like, he's guilty, he's a bad person, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was against him and stuff. And I'm like, no, like, he's innocent. He's a good person, all these things. So I knew the future outcome of it. And I'm really glad that now today that future has finally come into a reality. And, he was found innocent of all charges. So that's why I'm always looking into the future and putting my vision out there. And so, and this is Bitcoin, not BTC that I'm talking about. I'm talking about BSV, which is Bitcoin Satoshi vision. So it's kind of like it's hard to explain, but basically it's the real Bitcoin. Okay, the other one is a false Bitcoin masquerading as the real Bitcoin. And of course, you'll see different opinions on each side, but I believe in the future, when Craig Wright actually 100% proves that he's Satoshi Nakamoto, then you're going to see a big shift in everything. Because when that's found out, this guy is going to be worth like freaking, like, I think this lawsuit. So basically, this entire trial that's going on, just to summarize it quickly, is so there's this person that was named Dave Kleinman. He was a good friend of Craig Wright's. So Dave Kleinman died, like, I think in like, I don't know, 2011 or something, maybe before then. But his brother is suing Craig Wright because he was saying, oh, my brother Dave Kleinman was actually Satoshi Nakamoto, and somehow Craig Wright was either a partner with him, or, I mean, he's not really saying he was Satoshi Nakamoto, but he was saying basically that they both worked on Bitcoin together. And so really, actually, the plaintiff against Craig Wright is saying that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, but his brother was sort of a partner that had a hand in it. And so they're trying to go after, because it's rumored to, it's kind of a big thing in the BTC community, is that Satoshi Nakamoto is known to be holding about 1 million Bitcoins. So he's the largest single holder of Bitcoin, which in today's value would be worth like something around like 60 billion plus. So if Craig Wright actually becomes Satoshi Nakamoto, basically overnight, he'll be like the richest man in the world, right? At least one of the richest men in the world. So it would be a huge deal in the cryptocurrency, because basically then everything that's not BSV, I feel like would be considered worthless. At least if you're a reasonable and sensible person, a logical person, you would realize that this BSV coin would be the most useful, the most useful of all the cryptocurrencies put together. And so you would see all the value. Hopefully, you would see all the value go to BSV if that was the case. And that's why I'm telling you guys now. If you guys want to know the future, I would say maybe get a few coins of BSV. I think they're like around 150 right now. So, maybe put a couple in your pocket. Just who knows what might happen. Maybe I'll be right. You never know. So, letting you guys know, you guys got the inside scoop. So I'm following that right now. We actually don't get to see the trial, but I'm watching someone that's in the courtroom. He gives like a daily brief of like what happened that day, and so it's looking like that. It's looking like it's probably gonna end up like a nothing burger. Probably Craig is not gonna 100% prove, and the way that he can 100% prove he's Satoshi Nakamoto is basically use the coins that that are known to be Satoshi Nakamoto's, because those coins haven't moved since the beginning of Bitcoin, and so they haven't moved in over 10 years, right? And so once he moves like a coin, then you're going to see a big commotion surrounding that. So once he does that, then we'll know 100% sure. I don't know if it's going to happen during this trial, but if it does, you'll see a giant you'll see like just a giant commotion in the whole cryptocurrency community, and hopefully it'll become big news, because I think it's giant news. Because if you think about the future of technology and everything, the future of money, because even if you look at the money and the economic situation of even America right now, here we are just printing and printing and printing trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and now we're seeing, they're finally admitting, even though they knew this was going to happen, this is going to be obviously the cause and effect. If you're printing and printing more and more money, then it inflates the supply, and so your money becomes less and less valuable. So good thing about Bitcoin is that would never be the case, because there's only ever 21 million Bitcoins out there. And so that's why I believe that's going to be the future of a lot of things, because it'll be very useful, especially in the digital age that we live in, that the coin could be used interchangeably with the internet and even AI or anything like that, and all of that is coming. So I would be prepared with what's going on. So anyways, guys, didn't want to make this too long. I just wanted to give an update, because I haven't talked to you guys in over 2 weeks now. I am working on some videos, so there is more content coming. I've basically been glued to the screen of this Kyle Rittenhouse case, though, for the past 2 weeks, so I haven't really worked on them much, and I've been busy with some other things as well. But hopefully I'll have some time to get on them. Since I'm on thin ice right now, and I can't talk about that whole side of things about the V and all that stuff. I'm going to be focusing pretty much 100% on just teaching you guys more about kind of just more like the spiritual side of things, enlightenment and all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a live video, maybe next week, but we'll see how it goes. But again, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, that's pretty much where I put out a lot of the daily information. If you want to keep up to date with everything and know what's going on in the world, follow me on Twitter, because I post there pretty much every day. And so and since YouTube doesn't like me, it's a lot easier just to interact on something like Twitter, where I could voice and express myself without being threatened to shut me down all the time. So do you guys have any questions? I was going to make this short, so we're almost about 50 minutes in. Thank you all for being here, by the way. People that showed up: BB Truth, On Fire Foley, Anthony Barrett, Cherry Pop, Annie 100, MF Doom, Karen Messenger. So thank you guys. If you guys need to reach me, leave a comment. I pretty much always respond. Or you can message me on Twitter, or just message me and see what's up. But so yeah, any questions or anything anyone wants to say before I go? But yeah, good. Today was a very good day. Go out and celebrate, have some fun. The sun is actually shining today, and it's been very cloudy the past week. So it definitely feels like a very good day. And you know, there's a lot of things to be thankful for today. So anyway, guys, love you all. Just if you guys haven't, you know, hit the notification bell. So you know, I have a lot of fishy things happening with my YouTube. I've had members, subscribers saying that they're not getting notifications of when my videos or my posts are coming out. So if you guys want to, you know, be up to date with that, just hit that notification bell and, you know, share out my videos and everything like that. So anyway, guys, just want to keep this brief and everything. So I'll talk with y'all later. Thanks for popping in. It's nice talking with y'all. Nice to be back at it here on YouTube. So hopefully they won't shut me down. All right, see you guys.